Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Lady Gaga's makeup look at this year's Oscars. I thought she just looked absolutely beautiful, she always does. So let's get started. Now, since this is a very heavy eye makeup look, I'm going to start with the eyes rather than the foundation. This way, if there's any fallout, any mistakes, you can easily clean it up and you don't have to worry about ruining your face. So I'm just going to start with my eyeshadow base. I don't always like to use an eyeshadow base, but for looks that are a bit heavier and don't require too much blending, I think that they really help hold everything together and really make the look pop. And this one is just by NYX or NYX. I don't know which the pronunciation is. And I'm just going to pat that in with my beauty blender. You can use your fingers too. So now I'm just going to grab the Naked Urban Decay Wild West palette, and I'm going to start off with the color Standoff. It's a very light, slightly shimmery shade, and I'm just going to apply that with a nice fluffy brush all over the lid. And now I'm going to grab the color Nudie, and this one is kind of a darker ivory leaning towards beige. And again, I'm going to go right over the eyelid, right over that last color. And now I'm just going to take a touch of this gold Hold'em just for the hint of shine. So now we're starting to get into the smokiness. I'm going to go with the color Lara, and this is kind of a pale gray, slightly purple color. And even though it's pale, it does a nice job of creating that smoky effect without going into the territory of looking like you have a black eye. And I'm going to apply that right up here in the crease, just on that outer half of the eye, and then just a brush toward the lash line, almost in a triangular shape. And now I've just cleaned off this same brush, and now I'm going to do a nice blend, just sweeping upwards to really give that elongated effect that she has. So now I'm just going to grab my eyeliner pencil. This one is a Drama Liquid pencil from Lancome, and you can see it looks just like a regular pencil, but it is very creamy. And we're going to get started on that beautiful eyeliner that she wore. Now, her eyeliner in this is the dramatic part of the eye, whereas the shadow was quite subtle. The liner she really went quite heavy with, so it's going to be a nice thick line, and we're going to try to make the eye look as cat-like as possible, really exaggerating that angle. So all I'm going to do, starting in corner, and I'm just sweeping this up in kind of short, gentle strokes to start. I find if you could try to go too heavy to begin with, that's when you run into mistakes. I find it's better to just build as you go, and that way there's less of a chance that you will mess up. So So I've just created kind of my initial outline there, making sure everything's looking good shape-wise. Now I'm going to go back and make this a little thicker, a little more dramatic. And now when you go to do the wing, just going to take this line underneath the eye and bring it upward. And that's when you can start creating that nice point or wing that she has. I'm just going to go up a tiny bit for now, and then we're going to finish the rest with a nice brush to get that kind of gradient effect that she has. And now I'm just going to repeat this on the other eye, and then we'll do the finishing touches here. Now we're just going to grab a little angled brush. Unfortunately, my favorite angled brush is missing. It's in a piece of luggage that has not come back from the airport yet, but I'm using this one today. Just very tiny, nice and stiff. You don't want something that's going to flop around. And we're just going to take this and run it over the line, partially to smooth it out, and then to elongate that wing at the end. And once we have our wing all in place, I'm just going to go back and grab a little more of that color Lara and brush it right up against this wing to finish off that triangle. And now that that's all in place, let's go ahead and add our mascara. I'm just going to use my Styla Huge Extreme Lash Mascara. This one I find is really good for dramatic lashes when you don't want to wear false lashes, which I almost never like to do. So now I'm just going to move right ahead to the face, and then I'll go back to the brows. So I like to prep my skin with oil. I find that works better than primer for me, but whatever works best for you is fine. I do use the Nash oil. And if you suffer from dry skin, especially in the winter months, I find this helps the foundation go on really nicely, smoothly, and kind of leaves a dewy finish. So I'm just going to use my regular foundation. This is the e.l.f. I use the color 250 Buff. This is good if you have fairer olive skin. I always try to match it to my hands, which are, like the rest of me, a bit darker than my face. Now, she seems to have a very subtle contour, or she might not even have a contour at all, and it's just the lighting. So I'm going to grab my L'Oreal Paris Infallible foundation stick. Now, it's a foundation stick, but I use it as a contour stick. I use the color 412 Espresso, and this is a very deep color, but it's great for contouring. If you have skin any paler than mine, you might not want to use a color quite this deep, but I find that it blends in very well. So I'm just going to use a very small amount here. Just to get that very subtle contour, and actually just going to try to highlight the natural shape of my nose since she and I do have fairly similar nose shapes, as you can see. And I'm just giving this initial blend with my finger, and then I'll go back in with the Beauty Blender. I find it just kind of feels really good to do this with your finger and get some of that initial blend out of the way. And as you can see, once you start to blend this, it really does melt into the foundation and you're not left with really jarring contour. Now the next step will be blush, and Lady Gaga wore a really beautiful shade of pink, quite heavy on the blush. I generally don't wear blush because as someone with olive skin tone, I find it can look very odd, the pink against the green pigment in the skin. So I'm just going to be using one of my lipsticks that has a pink shade, but that isn't too bubblegum pink. It's a little more neutral than most blushes are, at least most that I've found. So I'm gonna grab my Revlon, and this is in the color Pick Me Up. And I'm just going to apply this right along the cheekbone like you would a liquid blush. And again, she went quite heavy on the blush, so I'm really going for it here. And I'm just brushing that all the way up the cheekbone, really matching the angle of the eye. And I'm just going to finish off the face with the concealer. I'm going to grab my NARS. This is in the color Chantilly. It's a very pale color, which I kind of love. Because it adds a bit of that drama. And I'm just using this both to highlight the face and again shape it, really trying to bring out these cheekbones that Lady Gaga has, which are just phenomenal. So now I'm just going to quickly fill in my brows. I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Okay, and the final step are the beautiful lips. She wore a stunning shade of red, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to start by lining my lips in the Italia Deluxe. This is in the color Hot Red. And of course, since this is a Lady Gaga look, it would be a crying shame not to use one of her products. So I'm using House Laboratories. This is in the color Burlesque, and it is a sparkle lipstick. Now she wore a very shimmery, almost a liquid lipstick for the red carpet. And I do have one of those, but I just think this one is more fitting for a Lady Gaga tutorial. And this is the completed look, which I really love. It is so striking. It reminds me a bit of the modern day femme fatale look I did a while ago. Just a very striking eye. A red lip is always so much fun. And I hope that you guys like this look too. Hope you try it out. And please let me know what other looks I should do. I love getting suggestions. And if you've suggested something that I haven't done yet, just give me a reminder. Sometimes I don't write them down immediately, or I misplace the suggestions. So if there's something that you've asked me to do and I haven't done it yet, I'm not ignoring you. It's just a slip in memory. and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.